Hey everyone, it's Tim from Linessa Farms Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. Happy Easter to everyone out there. I wanted to make a quick video about how we make our sheep and goat shelters. Now, if you've watched our interview with Larry Lorenz, which you can see right here, you've already seen these, but I wanted to show you how we go from having this old saddle tank to actually having the structure itself. Very, very easy. You can do it with hand tools, you can do it with a handsaw, or you can use a sawzall, which I prefer to use. Now these saddle tanks, you can find these on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or maybe at your local auction. I looked this morning just to kind of get a feel for where I was at price-wise. I found some of these online that were $100, some of them were $50, and then you had other ones that they wanted $1,000 for. But the realistic thing is, I think I paid $50 for two of these. You can pick these up relatively cheap. Now, each saddle tank itself is actually going to make two shelters. And it's very easy to do. We don't have to draw any lines because there's actually lines on here. There's a seam line on here when you get the tank. So it's going to be split in half. We're going to have one that's going to be kind of like a little doghouse shape, and the other one's going to be a little bit bigger. So we're going to cut it in half. We're going to cut a hole in the top, and we're going to cut an opening. Our goats specifically absolutely love these things. They climb on them, they jump on them, they're easy to pick up and move around, they're lightweight, they don't rust because they're plastic. Only thing I would tell you is make sure that you wash them out thoroughly. Make sure that there's nothing inside of them that's going to be caustic or dangerous to your animals. So with that being said, let's take a look at the saddle tank itself and see what we're looking at. So generally speaking, on the saddle tanks, you're going to see one bottom side where there's going to be a couple of valves. These are going to be cut out anyway, so we don't worry too much about them. And then if you come around to the other side, you're going to see this. This is where the lid actually went on the saddle tank. The saddle tank itself originally would have sat upright like this on the side of a tractor or on a carrier. They would have fluids that would be carried in here. Then they would have a couple bands that would go around it. Doesn't really matter if you've got holes in the thing or not. You just are going to use it as a shelter, and it's going to have a hole in it anyways. So the first thing I want to do is I actually want to cut this thing in half. And the beauty of that is you can see that there is a line where the seam mark is in this, and that is exactly where I am going to cut it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this thing in half. Best place to start is usually on a corner. Okay, so once you get through the corner, that allows you to put this down in there. That's the safest way to run it, is to have the blade in. Then I'm just going to follow the line. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not building a landing strip for the space shuttles or anything here. Just as close as you can get it. All right, and that is it. So we have now our two halves. This will be one shelter, and this will be our other shelter. Now, one of them already has a hole in the top. One of them does not. Then our openings are going to get cut right in here. And in this case, our opening is going to get cut right in here. Now, you want them to be open at the top. The reason that you want them to be open at the top is because when the animals are in there and they're breathing, it's going to condensate, and we want to make sure that we have good airflow. The holes don't have to be huge. In this case, we're just going to make a opening here to cut this valve out. And again, that one's already there. And that's twofold. The openings at the top are twofold. The nice thing about them is these are very lightweight. So if I have animals down in there and I want to see them, I can simply grab this, pick it up, move it, look, do what I need to do. I don't have to crawl in after my animals or anything like that. So with that being said, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my hole in the top. If you want to draw it out with a pencil, you can, or with a magic marker. I just kind of wing it. Depends on how pretty you want it to look. Alright, so that makes the hole in the top. Now what we need to do is we need to make the hole in the end. A couple different ways you can do that. I just do a simple half circle. You can cut out a square, you can cut out a rectangle, you can cut out a star shape, a heart shape, a walrus shape, whatever's gonna make you happy. You know, a lot of times, a lot of the videos you see online, people tell you, you know, you gotta do everything a certain way. And if you don't do it their way, it ain't gonna work. As long as your animals are healthy and happy and you're happy, there's lots of little things you can do to save money and get things done. This is a prime example of that. This is another prime example of taking ideas you get from other people. We can lay it down. Ta-da! It's just that easy. And if you come down to this end and look, we've got our doorway. They will most definitely squeeze in there. And we're gonna do the same thing on this one over here. I'm just gonna cut my doorway right out of there. Again, please make sure you wash these out thoroughly. We don't want our little fur buddies and wool buddies getting sick from anything that may be in here. And that is it. So 5 minutes of work, one reciprocating or sawzall changed because of a dead battery. And these will last you forever. And like I said, the goats absolutely love them. And that's it. It's just that easy. People ask a lot of times, you know, do you need to make the openings bigger? No, not really. The babies they'll duck down, crawl in there. We don't want to make the openings too big. If you make them too big, then what ends up happening is the moms try to go in there. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you very much for watching us as always. If you haven't checked out Linessa Farms Tack Box, which is our Facebook forum, make sure you do. Just a simple search for Linessa Farms Tack Box. We have all kinds of great information. We have articles, all kinds of stuff at our website as well. You can check that out at www.linessafarms.com. I'm Tim from Linessa Farms Specialty and Heirloom Livestock. Thanks for joining us again today. I look forward to seeing all of you again next time.